Buddy was once someone's best friend. He had a family, a home, and everything he needed. But one fateful day, they left him behind. No warning, no explanation, just a cold, empty road and a heartbroken dog left to fend for himself. For 5 long years, Buddy was alone, abandoned by the very people he trusted. No shelter, no food, just the cold world around him. Every day he fought to survive, with nothing but his memories to keep him company. It wasn't just the hunger or the cold that hurt Buddy. It was the loneliness, the abandonment, the feeling that he didn't matter to anyone anymore. But even in the darkest of moments, something can change. Something as small as a stranger's kindness can be enough to start healing the most broken heart. And in that moment, Buddy's story was about to change forever. For 5 long years, Buddy wandered the streets, trying to survive. Each day was a battle against hunger, cold, and danger. He scavenged for scraps of food, rummaging through trash bins and dodging speeding cars. The world was harsh, unforgiving, but Buddy kept going. His paws were worn from walking endless miles, and his fur had become matted and tangled, but his spirit remained strong. Through it all, Buddy remained alone. He learned to trust no one, not even the people who passed by. His eyes had lost their spark of hope, replaced with a deep sadness. There were moments when he would sit by the side of the road, staring at the cars speeding by, wondering if someone would notice him, if someone would stop and help. But no one ever did. Every now and then, he would cross paths with other dogs, some who had found their own ways of surviving, some who had given up entirely. He would watch them, wondering if they had the same pain in their hearts, the same loneliness that consumed him. But no one could offer him the companionship he longed for. Some days the sun would be harsh, and Buddy would find shelter under a tree or an old, abandoned building. Other days, the rain would pour down, soaking him to the bone, and he would have no choice but to endure the wet, cold misery. There were times when Buddy's hunger became unbearable, when he felt like he couldn't go on. But every time he felt like giving up, there was a small voice in his head urging him to keep moving, to keep fighting. He didn't know why, but something deep inside him told him that maybe, just maybe, there was still hope. He didn't know how much longer he could keep going. Each passing day felt like a year, but Buddy was determined to survive. His journey wasn't over yet, and despite the pain, despite the loneliness, he wasn't ready to give up. Not just yet. One rainy afternoon, everything changed. As Buddy huddled under a tree, his small body trembling from the cold, a car slowly pulled up beside him. The engine hummed to a stop, and for a moment, Buddy just stared at the vehicle. He'd seen many cars pass by, but none had ever stopped for him. His instincts told him to run, but something in him hesitated. The window rolled down, and a woman's voice, soft and gentle, called to him. "Hey there, little one. Are you okay?" Buddy flinched, unsure of what to do. His past had taught him not to trust people. But this voice, warm and kind, felt different. She spoke to him like he mattered, like he wasn't just another stray on the street. "I won't hurt you," she said, her words laced with reassurance. Slowly, cautiously, Buddy took a few steps forward, his body trembling as he approached the car. She reached out, holding a piece of food in her hand. It wasn't much, just a small offering. But to Buddy, it meant the world. His stomach growled in protest, but his heart swelled with a strange mix of hope and fear. Tentatively, he took the food from her, his mouth savoring every bite. "Good boy," she whispered, her voice soothing as she pet his head. Buddy froze. He hadn't felt a gentle touch like that in years. He flinched at first, unsure of what to do, but the warmth of her hand felt safe. For the first time in so long, Buddy felt a flicker of trust. The woman didn't rush him. She allowed him to take his time, never pushing him, never forcing him to come closer. She just sat there, talking softly, letting him know that he wasn't alone. As the rain continued to fall, Buddy slowly began to relax. He didn't know what the future held, but in that moment, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, things could get better. Buddy didn't understand why she had stopped for him. Maybe she was just another kind stranger passing through. But in that small moment, everything changed. He realized he didn't have to face the world alone anymore. The woman's kindness had given him something he thought he'd lost forever, the belief that there was still good in the world. Buddy's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. The days that followed the rescue were filled with care and attention, and slowly, his broken spirit began to heal. At first, he was hesitant. Every touch, every kind word, seemed to make him more nervous. But the woman never gave up. She spoke softly to him, always patient, always kind. With each passing day, Buddy began to trust more. His body grew stronger as he ate regular meals, and the sparkle slowly returned to his eyes. The coat that had once been dull and matted now began to shine again, and Buddy's steps became more confident, more playful. He began to explore the yard, sniffing the grass, chasing after sticks, and even wagging his tail, something he hadn't done in years. The small joys of life that he had once forgotten started to come back to him. He would sit by the door, waiting for the woman to come home, his tail wagging in excitement at the sound of her footsteps. It was a new life for Buddy, one filled with love and safety. But it wasn't just his body that was healing. Buddy had suffered so much pain, so much loneliness, that it was hard for him to let go of the fear that came with being abandoned. But little by little, he began to let his guard down. He would climb into her lap, pressing his head against her chest, as if to say, "Thank you." He no longer flinched when she moved toward him. There was trust now, something that had seemed impossible just days before. Buddy wasn't the same dog anymore. His past didn't define him anymore. He had been given a second chance at life, and it was clear that he was ready to embrace it. He no longer had to fight for food or shelter. Now he had something more valuable, a family that cared for him, a place where he belonged. The healing wasn't just physical. Buddy was starting to remember what it felt like to love again, to trust again, and to feel safe in a world that had once been so cruel. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was living. And as he lay by the woman's feet, his body relaxed and content, it was clear that Buddy's journey was far from over. But the path ahead was one filled with love, comfort, and hope. Just as Buddy began to settle into his new life, something unexpected happened. One afternoon, as he played in the yard, the woman received a call. She picked up the phone, listened for a moment, and then her face changed. There was a mix of surprise and hesitation, and Buddy could sense the shift. He paused, his ears perking up as she spoke, her voice low and uncertain. The woman hung up the phone, then turned to Buddy. "Buddy," she said softly, kneeling down to his level, "I have something to tell you." A few days later, the woman took Buddy for a drive, the same car that had stopped for him years ago. Buddy sat quietly in the back seat, watching the world pass by, unaware of what was about to happen. They arrived at a small house, one Buddy had never seen before. It looked familiar in a way that made his heart race. The door opened, and there, standing before him, was a family, his family. His heart skipped a beat as he recognized them. They were the same people who had once abandoned him, the same faces he hadn't seen in so long. They approached him slowly, eyes filled with guilt and sorrow. "Buddy," the woman in the family said, her voice trembling, We're so sorry. We didn't mean for this to happen. We should have never left you. Please forgive us." Buddy stood frozen, his mind a whirlwind of confusion. How could he forgive them after everything he had been through? How could he trust them again? He looked up at the woman who had saved him, the woman who had given him a second chance. His heart ached with the decision that lay before him. The family stood there, waiting, pleading with their eyes. But Buddy didn't know what to do. He wasn't sure if he could go back to them. The hurt ran so deep, and the love he had once given them felt so distant. He turned to look at the woman who had cared for him, the one who had shown him kindness when no one else did. She didn't say a word, but her eyes told him everything he needed to know. Whatever Buddy chose, she would be there for him. The choice wasn't easy, but Buddy knew what he had to do. With a deep breath, he took a step away from his past, toward the future he had built with the woman who had never abandoned him. He stayed by her side, his tail wagging slightly, his heart full of the love he had finally found. The family watched, tears in their eyes, as Buddy walked away. It wasn't just a choice for a home. It was a choice for healing, for love, for a second chance. And Buddy, though scarred by the past, had found a new beginning, one that would be filled with the love he had always deserved. Buddy's decision was clear, and though it wasn't easy, it was the one that brought him peace. He stayed with the woman who had shown him kindness and love, the one who had never once given up on him. As he walked away from his old family, leaving the past behind, it felt like a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. He had made the choice that felt right, the one that would lead him toward the happiness he so desperately deserved. The woman smiled down at him, her hand gently brushing through his fur. "You're home now, Buddy," she whispered, and Buddy knew it was true. Home wasn't a place. It was the love, the trust, and the safety he had found with her. No longer did he need to worry about being abandoned. No longer did he need to fight to survive. He had found the one person who truly saw him, who truly cared for him. In the days that followed, Buddy's life continued to improve. He found comfort in simple moments, lying in the sun, playing with toys, and curling up beside the woman at night, knowing he was safe. His body had healed, but more importantly, his heart had healed too. The scars of his past no longer held him back. He was finally free to be the dog he was always meant to be, happy, loved, and cherished. The woman, too, found joy in Buddy's presence. His loyalty and love filled her home in ways she never expected. She had saved him, yes, but in so many ways, Buddy had saved her, too. Their bond was undeniable, a reminder that even the most broken hearts could heal, and second chances were the most precious gift of all. Buddy's story wasn't just one of survival. It was a story of love, forgiveness, and redemption. He had been abandoned, yes, but in the end, he found his way back to the love he had lost. And as he lay beside the woman, his eyes filled with contentment, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that Buddy had finally found his forever home. This is a reminder to all of us that no one, not a single soul, should ever be forgotten. Love has the power to heal, to transform, and to change everything. Buddy's story shows us that no matter how deep the pain, there is always hope, and there is always a chance for a new beginning. Buddy's journey may have been a long and difficult one, but it's a story that shows us how powerful love and kindness can be. We all have the ability to make a difference in the lives of animals who need us. No animal should ever have to face the world alone, and Buddy is living proof that second chances can lead to beautiful, life-changing transformations. If Buddy's story touched your heart, we encourage you to consider adopting or supporting your local animal shelters. There are countless dogs, cats, and other animals out there waiting for a second chance, waiting for someone to show them the love they deserve. Your kindness can change their lives, just like it changed Buddy's. Whether it's offering a home to an animal in need or simply donating to a rescue organization, every small action helps. No gesture is too small, and no animal is too lost to be saved. Thank you for watching Buddy's story. If you believe in the power of second chances, like and share this video to help spread the word about animal rescue. And remember, if you're ever in a position to make a difference, take that step. Every little bit counts. Together, we can help more animals like Buddy find their forever homes and live the lives they were always meant to live.